Thank you. If you keep talking during the show like this, I'm gonna have to start paying you, and these guys are way too expensive. I don't have any money that I want to pay you. Do you understand? I mean, I'm glad you're here, but love you too. So back in 2008, I was on this show. Thank you.
Intervention?
It was not intervention.
I remember you.
That's good. I mean, it's not that funny. Calm down. And while all this crazy, incredible life stuff for me was going on, I was really unfortunate to have a little bit of perspective. While I was on the show, my brother Adam was going through his battle with a brain tumor. And as I get further and further away from him, I become more and more thankful for the fact that Adam was around to be a part of that, as much as he could have been. I mean, yeah, you can play, that's fine. You guys are the first to do that, but thank you. So you get off the show, and I thought the show was crazy. Like, I thought it was like, oh, this is as crazy as it's gonna get. No, not even close. You get off the show, and it's immediately, we're in Idol tour rehearsals while I'm trying to write and record a record that they want out in the fall or the winter or whatever. I think, well, but we just celebrated 10 years the other day, right? On Sunday, yeah. God bless. That's flown. So we go on the Idol tour, and I sell Pop-Tarts for a few months. It's true. Pop-Tarts are delicious, by the way. Can we all agree on that, Atlanta? We get done with the Idol tour, and it's time to finish the record, and we put out a single and do a bunch of promo, and then the record comes out. And then all of a sudden, it's the end of the year, and 2009 is bringing with it a year-long tour, where I think we lapped the States 3 times or something, and went overseas and played in the Philippines, and did all this incredible stuff. And right in the middle of that, Adam died. And at 26 years old, I had to make a decision as to whether or not I was going to step away from all of this for a minute and take a breath and grieve, or if I was going to just keep going. And I opted to reschedule a show for his funeral and otherwise just stay on the road. Well, thank you. But it ended up being the wrong choice for me. And I know that because the rest of the tour was fine. I thought I was managing well, and I think what it was is I was just distracting myself and I wasn't dealing with it. So I get off the road and it's time to write another record, and all of a sudden my brain says, yeah, I think we're gonna deal with this now. So every song I wrote was terrible, and dark and morbid, and not something that I ever want anybody else to hear. And at the same time, I'm not myself. I'm lashing out at people. I'm angry at everything. And I'm so neck deep in it, I can't even figure out what I'm mad about. So I go through these writing processes over and over and over and over again, and I'm not getting results, and I'm getting pissed off because for the first time in my life, as a songwriter, I can't write songs. I can't do my job. And I'm lost. And so I spent most of 2010 writing. I think we wrote like 86, 87 songs, something like that. Towards the end of the process for writing that record, I had been writing with all these like professional songwriters, which is interesting to say now because the 2 guys that I ended up writing this next song with are now professional songwriters. But at the time, they were my roommates and my friends, guys I'd known from before Idol. And we sat down with some beers, and I think I was wearing my pajamas. My cheeseburger pajamas. Flying cheeseburger pajamas, thank you. I was trying to keep that part out. So I sit down with my friends Andy and Neil, and Andy starts playing this kind of chord progression on the piano, and immediately, I don't even know if it was a conscious thing. It just felt like, okay, this is. I'm just gonna kind of go for it and try to purge some of this and figure it out. So we spent about 30-45 minutes writing this song, which is quick for writing a song. And at the end of it, I felt like I jumped this hurdle a little bit. I wasn't okay, but I was headed in the right direction. And as I've gotten further away from it, I think what I've come to realize is that having people in the room that I trusted, having people in the room that loved me, having people in the room that gave of themselves was what I needed. And I say with all sincerity, this song saved my life, because I wasn't okay. And I say all that to say this. In a climate where it seems like we're retreating more and more to us versus them, you know, black hats versus white hats, however, whatever analogy you want to use. Ultimately, we have way more in common than we have difference. And and this isn't a political thing at all. I think this is just a human being thing. You have absolutely no idea what you mean to somebody. Neil and Andy at that point had no idea what they were doing for me. And what they were doing was ultimately something very simple that we could all do more of, I think. And that's give love. So I ask you guys, very sincerely, if you take nothing else away from tonight, which, I mean, let's be honest, my stories have been a little horrendous tonight. So if you take nothing else away from tonight, as you leave here tonight and go back to real life, and you go be with your families for Thanksgiving this year, or Friendsgiving, or whatever they're calling it now, I don't know. I saw Friendsgiving yesterday. A kind word, a hug, a handshake can save somebody's life, because it saved mine. So please give love this week and every week. This is Goodbye to the Girl.